Hello everyone, it's Nick Lawson with cdc-TakeCharge software. Today we're going to look at how to create a launch bar application with a roll up and roll down feature. Now if you've been following along, you know that for our improved PC desktop we have created a new start menu which the people that are currently using it absolutely love. What they like about it is, one, it does everything that Windows does, which is shows your My Documents, your programs, your desktop, your favorites, but also it allows you to take and see the values stored in the modules that we've included with the desktop. And you can perform utilities right from the start menu. Now what they don't like about the utility side of the start menu is the tag system. When they select a file or folder, they don't know that it's actually selected unless they view tags. And they don't like that. Especially if they're tagging files all over the place, they tend to forget where they are, and they don't want to have to keep going in and looking at their list and fixing it. Can't fault them for that. So let's look at what we've done to change that for them. Now, when you take and select the file manager, instead of the start menu showing in the center of the screen, it takes and creates a launch bar. Now, if you've been using Alpha software or you're in a process of learning how to use Alpha software, you may have seen examples where you can create an X dialog box that rolls up and rolls down. They give you the code for it. They do not have that on a standard form. We've done it on a form, so you can do this if you want to. What we've added to our launch bar, it has all the buttons that are on the start menu, and we've added drives. The drives is pretty cool. When the user hits drives, it makes a list of all available drives on their system, and they can select one, and it opens up the Explorer to the location they selected. If they want to see another one, we'll go down here to My Documents. There it is right there. Now they have the ability to drag and drop from one to the other. They can right click and use cut and paste and the rename features and all the things that Windows makes available to them. And it's very easy for them to access. Additionally, we have the Windows applications that come free with Windows in a simple drop-down menu. So we can go through and grab like Notepad, and it displays right below our bar, making all the other stuff accessible and still be able to work within our window. Very cool. Also, we have our Web Bookmark Manager, again in a simple drop-down menu system. We have our Quick Launch Manager in a drop-down menu system. And we have our utilities. Now, watch what happens when I click the utility button. As you can see, the form grew until the entire form was displayed. Now, what the customers have asked for, they have available to them. If they select a file or folder over here, it automatically displays in the tag list. Now, I don't have this completely finished, but they would have a drop-down system here that allows them to select a utility. So whatever's in the list, if they say copy, is going to copy to the target. If the target is the same as the source, it'll prompt them to take and select a new target, and away it goes. If it's different, it'll just do the copy automatically. If they are searching for files, they simply take and select the file or folder they want to start with, determine if it's going to be at the current level or include subfolders, type in their string and click search. The results will be displayed in the file list, and again they can perform utilities against them. Very easy, very simple. When they're done, they simply take and click on the button which now, instead of saying utilities, says launch bar, and it rolls back up. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, now some of you will probably say, wow, that really is kind of jerky on the screen. Well, if you remember from our graphic examples on our blog, when you are doing animation in Alpha software, it's up to you to take and match the growth of the object with the frame rate or the on-timer event timing cycle. The human eye can see 30 frames per second very smoothly. So tweaking those two values will allow your objects to grow and shrink in a neat, smooth manner. Watch how this line draws when I click Draw Line. There you go. Very smooth. Very easy. That's because I took the time to match the growth of the object with the on-timer event so that it grows the same way the eye sees it in a smooth, even manner. Same thing can happen here if you take the time to match those two values. Now let's look at how all this is done. Here, the first button that we're looking at is button 3, which is Utilities. It says if the text for the button says Utilities, which it does, then we set a variable DL to grow. Otherwise, we set DL to shrink. And we set the length, X length variable to equal the value of the height of our form object, or our launch bar object, which in this case, when it shrunk, is 72 pixels. Now, the on timer fires, and will continue to fire until DL is set to stop. Okay, so if it says grow, then it grows an increment of 80 pixels each time the on timer event runs. That makes it redisplay 7.5 times, and that's what you see as it grows down the screen. If it is set to shrink, then it goes down by 80 pixels, which makes it go back up the screen. And we set the text to Utilities. By changing the text value, if it's growing to launch bar and if it's shrinking to Utilities, it resets the text on the button, which makes the opposite action take place when the button is clicked. It grows, it shrinks. Pretty simple. The other thing I want you to notice out here, even though I did include it here just to kind of show you, this is not required on an on-timer event. The on-timer by default automatically repaints the screen each time the timer event fires. If you notice by looking at our clock over here, the hand is sweeping around, yet I did not call top parent repaint once in the code that makes that work. The on-timer event does it automatically. If, however, you don't want to see the animation of the form growing and shrinking, well then that's easy enough to do. Turn off the timer event on the form, and on the button push, unrem out this code and rem out the DL code. Here you would set the height to 672 and it would just automatically display immediately at 672. However, you would be required to have a top parent repaint, because on the on push event the form is not being repainted unless you tell it to. Okay, same here. When you shrink it, you would set the height back to 72 and again you would do a repaint. And once again we would switch the utility text and launch bar text so that each time we click the button the opposite action would take place. That's it, folks. It's all very simple, and I hope you find some uses for this. You can use it, for example, if you're doing a payment processing screen and a person enters in a credit card number or selects payment type of credit card, then it would pop up or expand the form to show fields for the credit card numbers. Otherwise, you don't need to see it. Pretty simple way to do it. If you have any questions or you need to contact us, you can do that through our website at cdc-TakeCharge.com, or go on over to our blog at cdc-TakeCharge.wordpress.com and follow along, and you can get this code where you can cut and paste and do your own examples. Thanks again for stopping by. On our next session, we will actually finish up that utility screen we just created. Have a great day, and I hope that you'll stop by and see us again. Thank you.